All right, so let's move on to some TV for a bit, right? So, you talk about a couple premieres, a couple of DC premieres, right?
Sure.
We have season three, well, the season three premiere, sorry, of Superman Lois. Unfortunately, I did not get around to checking that out, and that's funny because I always like try to see the premieres of these at least, but I just didn't get the time to, unfortunately. But I will watch this, the premiere and the season as a whole, right? Because yeah, I mean, I've been for the most part enjoying this series, right? It's still, a breath of fresh air compared to the other, Greg Berlanti, CW, DC stuff that we've gotten over the past 5 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Just in terms of just the production value, and just everything as a whole, direction, visual effects, all that stuff, right? Even writing as well, right? And we'll also talk about the series premiere of Gotham Knights, right? And I'll just say this right off the bat, I wasn't even like following up the release of this at all. So I just found out just the other day, oh, this is a thing. It's like, all right, I didn't even know, right? So I didn't even watch a trailer for this. I went in completely blind. And yeah, we'll share our thoughts on that, right? But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. Season three premiere of Superman Lois. What is it about, and what do you think will happen? What can we expect now with this third season, just based off of this premiere here?
Right. So yeah, it kind of picks up from season two. It's a kind of soft reboot of the show in a sense. It's pretty good. It's engaging for what it is. Well, they changed the actor for Jonathan Kent, the second son.
Oh,
Uh,
would okay, okay,
they changed the actor.
like
Yeah, I
what?
forget why
All
the,
right,
the original actor.
you probably get
Like,
fed up again, laughed at or or
well,
something.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know why the original actor left, but for whatever reason, he had to thing. He changed. He moved on from his thing. Yeah. So basically, what it is that some new mysterious. So school shit as usual with the kids. Life goes on with Lana being the mayor, and then Clark officially works. Well, the big reveal at the end is that remember a bunch of characters, new characters now know Clark's secret. So
Yes,
Clark works
yes.
at the local paper. I forget the name of the local paper.
Oh, that
Uh,
where Lewis was working for a while, right?
right. And then it have little normal drama crap with the girl sleeping around with the Lana husband. Apparently, I know I don't really care about the drama. Whatever, it's CW bullshit. Uh, but the big thing is somebody it's implied to some dark side tech stuff seems to be going on involving. So the big villain involved is Bruno Meinheim. Is played by Chad Coleman. I really like that actor. He's a great character actor. Know him mostly from The Expanse, but he was in The Orville and a bunch of other shit. Oh, he was in Walking Dead, right? He was in that. But yeah, he played Bruno Mannheim, which is like a known dark side character type figure anyway. So it's like, yeah, okay, let's see what they're gonna do with this, as it is. And the big fight is that Clark kind of chastised the son for not listening to him and almost getting himself exposed and possibly killed um in the fight. So what happened is that the the big thing happened is that he what happened boy? Oh right, he got in a fight with the son. Sorry, the son almost got captured, and then he got in a fight with some guy who's like a villain who's supposed to be dead, or either or in prison or something like that. So like you don't understand why to see this person showing up a second time kind of thing, no? And then the person gets killed, and it's a big mystery as to what's going on. And Clark, they figure out a way to like fool Clark illusions or whatever. So some stuff that seemed to be above Clark level. And yeah, that is basically the first episode. That's it. It's a nice reboot. Um, good soft reboot in a sense. None of it I hate or anything like that. It just a lot of it works for what it is trying to do in its conceits, but it just feeling like a soft reboot of the show. I know a new Lex Luthor supposed to be coming through in this, all right. But yeah, it's the same show. Wait till the finale. I doubt I'll watch it. I'll just wait till the finale and then binge most of it. And
Yeah,
yeah, that'll be
I'll do that too, to be honest.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's just a solid premiere for what it is. Again, think of it as a kind of soft reboot to the show. So that's how I feel about it.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So up next, let's talk for a bit about Gotham Knights, right? Which
Sure.
again, as I said, I went into completely blind, right? So I'll do
Yeah.
the synopsis for this, right? Uh, so I'll confess that I am not familiar with the game at all. The one that came out last year. I think we said in the last episode, well, I think you said that it wasn't really all that. I was like, all right, well, they real hype that shit up for what it is by that DC, showcasing that they had year before last year. I forgot the name of it right now, which sucks. But yeah, I thought that the way how they hype it up that game that is gonna be like real cool now, but apparently it wasn't according to you, right? But anyway, right? So I'm assuming that these are either the same characters from that game or just totally different, but still lifted from the comics, right? But anyway, so we are introduced to Turner Hayes, right, who is the adopted son of Bruce Wayne, right? And
Right.
well, we learn later on, like early on, actually, that Bruce gets killed, right? We're not really sure how. Sorry, we're not really sure who killed him. Sorry, right? And just well, that's like the big mystery box thing that's going on. Well, that's set up here in this premiere, right? Who killed Bruce Wayne, right? So we also introduced a few other characters. One is Dweller, who actually is the daughter of the late Joker and Harley Quinn, right? And
Right.
she is also accused of the murder, right? Along with Harper Row, who is this him and pretty much sorry, her and this guy by the name of Cullen Rowe, right? So they well, pretty much brother sister, right? My bad, right? The brother and sister, right? So yeah, they got hired to sneak inside Wayne Tower and steal some stuff, but realized, oh wait, it's the same gun that Joe Cool used to kill Bruce Wayne's parents. Wow, right? And then the
Right.
police show up, and then they realize, oh shit, you know what I mean? Bruce died, right? Because literally his body is like lying like right in front of Wayne Tower, right? Like he, like head busted all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, they all get arrested and whatnot, right? And also I forgot to mention Harvey Dent, right? DA Harvey Dent is involved, and he's trying to get down to the bottom of all this stuff with Bruce Wayne's death, right? And through some circumstances, well, yeah, too, they all get arrested too, because pretty much they revealed that some money was pretty much he's accused now of hiring people, like literally paying people to do the job, right, to kill Bruce, right? So through some circumstances, they are released from prison, and they have to find their way. And well, slight spoiler, they run into Robin, but not the Robin that we know. This one is Carrie Kelly, right? So this is the version of Robin that we get here. And because of her tutelage under Bruce, right? That was before he even adopted Turner. It's like, yeah,
Right.
Turner, you didn't do it. Somebody else did, and we're gonna find out who it is. And the episode pretty much ends where it's revealed that it's actually the Court of Owls, and they actually do a really
Right.
smart, in my opinion, smart little twist where it's like, oh, you think the person who was really taking care of you really had your back? No, no, no. They up to some chicanery as well, right? And I'll stop there, right?
Right.
So what I would say, right, as a series premiere, this works, right? It took a while for it to build up for me personally. It still has the CW vibe to it, the sort of
Yeah.
dialogue and
Yeah.
the sort of stilted Gen Z kind of dialogue, you know what I mean, trying to sound
Right.
edgy, you know what I mean, in terms of the characters and whatnot. Even the characters them trying to come off real edgy and edgelord at some points, right? Um what I will say, and this is like the best compliment I could give it, it's the CW take on Titans, right? Where in
Right.
Titans, where it was like really going edge lord, right, in terms of the content and the just how dark everything was. Here it feels much relatively lighter, you know what I mean? But still dark, right? Because it's Batman, so we gotta be dark, right? Because it's Batman. That's how it is, right? The actors have to grow on me. I didn't really see anybody that I know, especially like the lead Oscar Morgan who plays to the Hayes. He took a while for me to grow on me, but
Right.
I will say once his character arc starts going, that's when I started to get invested. 'Cause at first I was like, oh yeah, you just. Or you're the adopted son of Bruce Wayne. Who gives a shit, right? But then,
Right.
but really, when it really pick up for me is when he get arrested. I was like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on, right? Um, and the other characters had a groomer as well too, but I get where they're coming from in terms of why they involved in all this. Case in point, Duella, the whole idea that I hate my dad, right? But I kind of like my
Right.
mom and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of interesting how she says how she grew up in Arkham and she heard stories of the court owls. I was like, all right, that's pretty interesting, right? Um, Harper and Cullen had a groomer. They had a groomer. Because I really don't know anything about those characters, but I guess they will have more to do in this story, right? But right now, I'm really more invested in Tuna and Duella. Tuna, of course, has a romantic interest by the name of Stephanie Brown. I know nothing about
Right.
this
That's
character,
another. That's
but
another
you
Robin.
can tell me who she is, I guess.
She's another Robin.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was picking up on a kind of a what's he was looking for by oh gosh, the Batgirl. Oh gosh, the Barbara
Well.
Gordon character. She kind of
Right.
in that kind of vibe, oh gosh,
Well, she
like
could be.
the wheelchair kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, she could be. She could be. They're probably they're framing her. They're more framing her like how Barbara Gordon is in a sense. She's more
Right.
oracle-ish. But yes,
Oracle,
that's
that's
wrong.
it. Yeah.
Right. So she's supposed in the comic she's supposed to be another Robin. She's a, I forget which female Robin is, but she's the later one, not in the future one. The kind of the later after well before Damien, but after Tim character supposed to be. Well, I forget the details.
Okay. All right. A few things for you, right? Harvey Dent also his character had to grow on me too because it's not like the character that we know from from any incarnation I've seen. It's slightly different about see, right? Um, so few nitpicks that I have with this. It really draws a lot from Nolan's films, especially The Dark Knight. Like
Yep.
literally, there's a moment where Duella is sticking her head out of the back seat of a car,
Yeah.
and it literally trying to emulate like the iconic shot with Joker in the Dark Knight. The way
Yeah.
how they escape from from captivity. That's all I'll say is very Dark Knight inspired. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The whole I'll say too. It also references, and this was kind of odd to me, right? It also references the Batman because
A
there's
little
two
bit. Yeah.
instances where I pick up, right? So one where going into spoilers, right? Where there's a funeral for Bruce, right? And there's somebody that's holding up a poster that looks very much like the poster for the Batman, right? With the red rain and the silhouette and the red
Yep.
Batman logo. I saw that, right? And even the title card for Gotham Knights is very much like
The
the
Batman. Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
So now I'm
Yep.
wondering if this is meant to be a continuation of that show, or is
No,
this
no,
meant
no.
to be
It's
inspired by it
that's
because
what they
it's
do.
Warner,
Yep.
but it
That's
kind
what
of
they
giving
do.
it a kind of a cheapness to it, in my opinion. Like
Exactly. It always
that,
do this.
that's
Listen.
the issue I have. Like
Listen.
understand like you don't have to go out your way to connect shows and whatnot, but
Yeah.
still, it kind of
No,
give him
listen.
a kind of blatant references to the Batman. So I wonder what's
Listen.
going on here.
Listen. What they just do every time they just do this shit. Something gets successful with Batman, the cycle is continue. As the pattern repeated itself more times than you can fathom. They'll take something that was popular because Batman worked earlier this year and then just rip off the aesthetic one time and then run with that. And I thought this show kind of just fell flat for me. Like it just felt like is Gotham but in verse, like in verse Gotham. It's like, all right, well, before Batman, what if after Batman? And then a bunch of characters I wouldn't give a shit about. Or vague references to the comics. Yeah, I don't know. This they're just feeling like they're trying to get Gotham Lightning to strike again.
you know. And also too with the Titans, like I kind of was getting a Titans vibe from it too, not just because of the look and the edginess of the characters, right? But because of how Batman and Bruce Wayne are represented, right? Like we don't see Batman per se, but we also don't see Bruce
Yeah,
Wayne neither. So in my head, I was asking myself if this is like some sort of spin-off of Titans as well too. You're gonna see the actor who plays Bruce Wayne in that or something. But it's like no, you know what I mean? So it's kind of in a weird place, but the
yeah,
kind folks at Warner and DC will say, well, it's another Earth, so this is Earth something, so
yeah. That bullshit.
it's that bullshit, right? But
No, they're doing the Gotham thing where they just want to do they want
yes,
to
you're
do
right.
their own thing. They want to do their own story, but they have to just make it quote unquote Batman adjacent, right? Not really a Batman story, but just Batman-ish, Batman adjacent. And it just to me it's the same problem. This is Gotham all over again for me. It's just a slightly different conceit, and I can't in good conscience say I'm interested in any of this. But you gotta
Okay.
listen. I expect the next 5 years of people defending this bullshit and telling me, well, it's actually good if you give it a chance. Like, yeah, I did give
That,
it a
that, that was
chance.
me and Gotham Forward.
That was beyond Gotham.
Actually,
I did give it a chance. It sucks. I'm sorry, but whatever.
look, I was patient with it up to like the third season. I was like, all right, this really not going anywhere for me. Let me stop this. That was me.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I'll close to this, right? In general, this is promising. It's shaping up to be a promising series, right? I do assume also that it's gonna be within the same vein as Superman Lois in terms of okay, it's like your average CW superhero show, but the budget looks bigger, right? You know what I mean? We have a much more better production value and all that. It's not gonna look like your Black Lightning or your Flash or your Arrow. It's gonna look a little bit more professional and a little bit more top notch, right? And I
right.
actually won't be even surprised if they connect the two, right? But again, yeah, they really do need to fix the law here. They really do need to decide where the show is set, right? Because you can't throw the Batman references and Dark Knight references, um, and have people wondering where exactly does this show fit in the TV DC universes or whatever it is, right? They need to establish that, right? Because right now, with this show being as it is, I mean, it would be it would be a really stupid idea for them to just say, "Oh, no, we're just gonna do our own thing." Really, you really want
Yeah.
to do that? You really want to do that,
No,
Belanti? You
no.
really want to do that?
But the thing is,
Too late, bro.
they're not even no, they're not even going to do it in the spirit of Batman because like okay, so I don't expect. I have no idea how the action going to be. I really hope it's not Gotham all over again. But the video game, I thought okay, so there's a video game called Gotham Knights that came out late last year. I had some fun with it, right? It was alright for me. Not the worst thing ever. It's just the main problem with the game is that they could have put out more content for it, but they just kind of seem to have cut and run on it. But yeah,
Okay.
that had an okay conceit, whereas it's all Batman sidekicks, but they have to work together because Batman died, right? In that. So it's basically a kind of team co-op game where you play as Nightwing, you play as Red Robin, Jason Todd, and then Batgirl. 4 characters, they work together. You could play with them all 4 of them together in some situations. And I thought we was gonna get that because they have all of them have different play styles but they complement each other in interesting ways. Blah 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 blah. Uh, I don't know if that's what we're gonna get in the show. What this feels like. It feels like Gotham Junior. I'm sorry. That's a problem.
I love it, Gotham Junior.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll see.
But yeah, but that's really where I stand on this, right? It's an okay start. The conceit is promising. I really do hope that they flesh things out even more. Fix, improve on the characterization. Because right now these characters feel rather two-dimensional, even Harvey
Yes.
Dent. Sorry to say that. But there's promise in this. There's promise in this. And I'll close to this. I hope that they don't cancel this thing after one season. They really have to come through really strong here. And maybe we might get a few seasons out of this, right? But if this thing get cancelled, boy, after one season,
Yeah.
boy, it's like oof. You know what I mean? Oof.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ricardo, your honest opinion on Gotham Knights, this premiere here.
Yeah, I kind good conscience say I'm super hyped for it. It just feels too much like goddamn Gotham. Like just the whole figuring out a way to have a story without Batman, but it's a Batman story. And it's like, dude, Batman is the character. Like you could get rid of Batman, or you could have another Batman, but please have Batman in the story in some way, shape, or form, or focus on an adjacent character. Like Batwoman, I think failed, but Batwoman could have done something interesting. It failed because they didn't know what to do with the character, but you could do something with it. Like where Luke and Jace Fox or something like that. Like if you could get that and they could tell that kind of story, but whatever. Warner Brothers just have the internal tie-in and everything need to be in the movies and that kind of bullshit. So they have to do the adjacent bullshit thing. Whatever, moving on.
All right, all right, all right. So up next, let's talk about Swarm.
Sure.
I really wanted to see this. When my colleague Tracy actually showed me the first teaser for this, I was like, all right, this looks weird AF, but it's my kind of
Yeah.
weird AF. You know what I mean? I love in particular how like it looked very much like you were watching some sort of like 70s art house horror film or something like that. It's really
Right.
cool, right? But well, the two main reasons why, well, sorry, I should say 3 main reasons why I want to see this. One is created by my boy Donald Glover, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is
Yeah.
right after the great Atlanta TV series, right? Also, McGill, Chloe Bailey is in this, right?
Right. Right.
I want to see her acting chops, and that's right before
Right. Acting
her
chops. Right.
sister, Harley, come through with the Little Mermaid later on this year, right? And
Right.
then also my next skill, Dominic Fishback. It's like, hey, you in this too?
For sure.
All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's the premise that really had me interested, right?
Right.
Where it's pretty much taking the beehive term, right? As in Beyonce's diehard, fan base, right?
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, just flipping it on its heels and showing a really horrific side to it, right? But that's all I really know about this, though. But I really wanted to see this, but I just didn't get the time. But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What was this about, and how did it play off you?
I really enjoyed this. This is a really, really weird conceit. So, this main character, Dre, is a kind of sad sack, right? She is obsessed with this character called, I forget the character's name, Nilja or Nija or something like that. This kind of, basically, it's like a mix between, it's kind of like a Afrobeat Beyonce, effectively, in a sense,
Okay, yeah.
kind of thing. But she also makes friends with Chloe Bailey. I forget Chloe Bailey's character's name
I
because
read it here, Marissa or Risk
Marissa, right, right,
Jackson,
yeah,
right?
right, yeah, because they get right, yeah, yeah. So she's in this, yeah. Well, the big shock value they start with seeing Chloe B again. She cheeks clapped at the beginning, but the friend kind of watching her, and the
Uh,
friend. So I don't know how to describe the show or what Dominic Fishback's character is supposed to be like, but at first it comes across like falling down for black women. Um, you
Oh
know,
wow, okay.
yeah, it is get real weird. But her character is like very disturbed. And okay, so I don't watch the show You, right? So I don't know if it's to do the black woman version of that as well, maybe.
Right.
Like so I never got into that show, but it's supposed to be
Neither
about
me, but I hear a lot
right.
of great things. Well, good things, the great things about it.
Right. So I think it tapping into that energy as well, right? You know, and how to deal with the psychopath, sociopath. Yeah, and you realize that this character is, Dre is a bit of a psychopath. But they start flashing back as to how and why she's with, and she have a little a trail of blood following her, right? You know why she's who she's killed. At first, she comes across like a kind of Black Widow type character, like, well, does she hate men or something like that? But no, she kills women as well, and we see how and why. And then you're wondering if it's uniquely the black woman conceit and black women as a thing, because there's a whole episode involving oh gosh, was this singer named boy Billie Eilish, I think. Was about a
Okay.
white, right? There's a whole thing with that.
Right.
And that was a whole conceit as well. And it's like, okay, I kind of see what the subtext is. And this is something that to get into, right? So Donald Glover, one of the more valid critiques of Donald Glover was the fact that he doesn't really handle women and black women in particular in his shows particularly well. Now, a lot of people make the point that he frames a lot of black women, not necessarily Van, but other characters, in not the best light now. And I
Right.
do think that this feels like a kind of somewhat effort to address or compensate for that. I'm not sure, but it works with this conceit of, yeah, this character is getting into the venting of, it feels a lot of the subtext feels like black women venting kind of ideas, but like legitimate anxieties and legitimate conceits involved there. Going with this conceit, and it feels like a really dark, murdering version of oh gosh, the City Girls show from last year that I like now.
Or rap shit.
Rap shit, right? It feels
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it feels like that, but it goes way weirder and deeper in that sense. And yeah, watch, like, think of if what Atlanta is to Insecure, this is the rap shit in that sense, right? If you think about it like that.
I
It
got you.
get
I got you.
it gets weird. It's about a different conceit about this person and how she just moving through with her trailer destruction, and they make it really really work. And Dominic could probably get an Emmy for this. She was really fucking good in this though. And
Nice.
they get into a lot of conceit about it, and then so it going good, going good until episode 6 and 7, and then it does get very fucking weird. So yeah, Donald Glover, to give the man the props, he kind of really getting into his metafictional aspect of it. I don't think this is a spoiler, but all I'll say is that it has some meta shit going on. It's some goof by the door, Thomas Washington kind of shit going on with this one episode, and it had me like they have a little shot in it that had me thinking, wait, this a thing. It had me, as I say, if you're going to Google to double check, he catch you there, and he catch you there. Like, wait, what the fuck? Is this a real story? What's going on here? And then they get to the final episode, and the final episode is really brilliant and very confusing, but that's part of it, right? So something happens to the character, and it had me thinking, what? This character is this now? What going on here? And then the ending with the final shot, well, not final shot, but the final sequence is like, all right, I kind of see what's going on involving the conceit, especially from what happened with the first episode. And so it's not only a trail of violence, but it's also a conceit of guilt, right? So a lot happening to this character all at the same time. And while what happens to Marissa's character in the first episode is very relevant to the ending. It's like, all right, it's kind of clever. It's not perfect, a little messy at parts. Doesn't flow particularly well, especially in I'll say episode 3, 4, and 5 is a little slow for me, but still really really solid. It's not too long either. It's not like an hour long episode. I think like every episode is like half an hour, so you're fine with that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but
But does it work as a horror then, or at least a psychological horror?
well, yeah, no, it works. Yeah, it works as a kind of a horror thriller kind of thing, because it's more like in the mind of because it focuses on the mind of the killer. You get to see through the killer's eyes effectively throughout the entire story. But you kind of understand not only the mix of the predator aspect of it, but then the conceit of why she's doing it and how, and the very unstable like mindset of it. But yeah, episode 6 will fuck with you. That's all I'll say, because it really got me going. What happens is that I make the mistake of binging it, and I was a little tired by episode 6. So I watching what going on, and wait, I don't kind of rub my eyes and say, wait, what going on here, Judd? And and then I went and sleep, come back and then check what going on, and then do some extra research and make sense of it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, at least I have that clear. All I'll say is it's some goof who stood by the door bullshit going down. That's all I'll say. Like
All right, all right.
you need to know it catching you. But yeah, Donald Glover, like he learned from Dan Harmon, but he really doing the meta fiction, the meta stuff really well though, because there's a shot in it, there's a sequence, a small sequence, like wow, that's very clever though. Cause it had me going. Anyway, rating. Yeah, I give this a real high rating. This will probably make one probably might be a best of the year, but our rating probably like a 9 out of 10. Jared. Like I really loved it
Wow.
personally.
Hmm.
But I can see why some people might not like it or why it would good. But if it'll hit, it'll hit. It is not subtle of who it's referencing, but I know what it's about. That just the surface stuff. Like especially given Chloe Bailey's career and how she's mirroring that person. Um, like there's a whole self-referential conceit going on there in that sense. But yeah, making the conceit and building from it in its own way. I think the show is very, very smart. It really, really works for what it is. The character, you thought the character would be completely non-sympathetic, but no, she actually is what's going on. And yeah, it really have you going for in the general premise of it. I kind of loved it, to be honest. Give it a chance. It's not long, it's but I do recommend it.